Now we're solving equations where the variable occurs on, or I'm sorry, solving inequalities where the variable occurs on both sides of the inequality. Okay, so let's take a look at our first problem here. We have 2v plus 11 is greater than or equal to 51 minus 3v. Okay, again, the goal is the same as when we were solving equations. We want to get all our variables on one side. We're going to collect our variables on one side of the inequality sign and our constants on the other. So let's see, we have a 2v over here. That's a variable term, and we have a 3v right over on this side. So I'm going to go ahead and I want to move all of my variables to the left side, meaning I want to get rid of this minus 3v. In order to do that, I add 3v. So I add 3v to both sides. That gets rid of it on the right-hand side. So I have 5v plus 11 is greater than or equal to 51. So I'm almost there. Again, this is just like solving equations. I want to get now my 5v by itself. And what am I doing to it? I'm adding 11. So on this side I need to take away 11. So I'm going to subtract 11 from both sides of the inequality sign. My 11's go away. I have 5v is greater than or equal to 40. Now I divide. I'm trying to get my v by itself, and because I'm multiplying by 5, I'm going to divide by 5. So I'm going to divide by 5. My 5's cancel out to just a coefficient of 1 for my v, and that's greater than or equal to 8. So my answer is v is greater than or equal to 8. In this problem, I'm trying to solve the inequality for u. So u is my variable. I'll rewrite my inequality here. 4 minus 6u is greater than 19 minus 3u. So again, I notice that I've got u's on both sides of my inequality, right? So those are the two terms I'm going to try to get together, and I always like to collect them. I like to collect, if I can, my variables on the left-hand side. So I'm going to remove it from the right. Since it's a minus 3u, I'm going to add 3u to both sides. Right, so that gets rid of it there. And I have a 4. The 4 remains unchanged. Negative 6u plus 3u. Now those are like terms, so I'm left with a minus 3u. And it's greater than 19. Well, I'm almost done. I see that I have, this is my term that I want to isolate, right? I have a negative 3u. And since this was a plus 4, I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides. So my 4's cancel. I still have a negative 3u. And now I've isolated it because I've moved all the constants to the other side. 19 minus 4 is 15. And the last step of my equation, of my inequality, the last step to solve it is always to divide by the coefficient or multiply by the reciprocal. And the one thing we have to be mindful of with our when we're talking about inequalities is whether that number is positive or negative. So if we take a look, we want to isolate our u, right? And what are we doing to it? We're multiplying it by negative 3, right? So I have to divide it by negative 3, which means I need to divide this side by negative 3, 15 by negative 3 as well. But we've got to be careful, right? Here, because I have a negative, I've got to make sure that I change my inequality sign to swap that around. Okay, so now that I've taken care of that, my negative 3's cancel. I simply have u, and I have 15 divided by negative 3, and that's u is less than negative 5.